Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Okay, here's an example of where you personally can make a difference in the quality of the outcome of your project. If you look here, you'll see that I bolted the neck back on, and then I got the pencil down in the groove between the neck and the body and drew around the outline because it was off by maybe a millimeter or two. So I could have just, taken this thing off and hung it up and squared it and called it a day. But in order to get a more perfect fit, I'm going to go ahead and come in with the mini angle grinder probably and come down to these lines here. You can see right along there, down to here, and just a little bit around on this side too. So yeah, and that should more perfectly fit this heel section of the body to the neck heel. And yeah, God is in the details. And so yeah, there you go. These are the kind of details that make the difference between an okay build and a great build. Okay, the body's got its first coat of lacquer, and as usual, I forgot to raise the grain first. So when this dries, I'm going to have some crunchy fuzz from where the lacquer raised the grain for me. And so I'll probably have to knock it back with 320 and then start clear coating it. But yeah, so don't do like I did. Be sure that you brush it down with water and let it dry, and then sand off the fuzz with 320 before you put your first coat of lacquer on. When you put the lacquer on, just spray it thin. It's better to put on more thin coats than a few heavy coats. Overall, you're probably going to want to put on about half a dozen coats of lacquer before you get into serious sanding. After a couple coats, if you get a bad run or something, you can knock that down before you continue adding coats. So the guitar build-along guitar is in the paint shop at the moment, and it got about 4 or 5 coats of clear lacquer, and now I'm starting to level sand it with 320. Got some runs and such. I don't know if you can see them right in there. Yeah, there you can see a couple runs. Yeah, so I'm level sanding this with 320. You can see how it's kind of foggier here. And for best results, you want to block sand this. I'm being lazy. And because that'll get you a perfectly flat surface. It'll look mirror smooth when you're all done. You don't want to get too intense on the sanding or you'll cut through. But in this case, there's no stain or anything to mess up. So you can just squirt it with more lacquer and start again. Yeah, so this is more or less the way it came out. It actually came out pretty good. There's hardly any runs on the back, a couple there. And I decided to take the block for the bridge off before I painted it. And it's a little bit of buildup there at the bottom where it was dripping. But you can take that down carefully with a razor blade and then when you cut it off, it'll be still not dry underneath. So let that dry and then you can sand and polish as normal. So yeah, it's time for some quality time with the sandpaper. And I'm just going to do all this by hand. And after I've hit it with 320 and got as level as I want, then I run through the grits up to about 2500, and then it's off to the polisher. Okay, the body is out of the workshop, out of the paint shop. and it got 4 or 5 coats of lacquer. First off, I forgot to raise the grain, so first I shot it with a coat of lacquer, and then pretty much sanded it all off, knocking down the lacquer soaked fuzz. So essentially, I wasted a coat of lacquer raising the grain with lacquer instead of water. But yeah, raise the grain with water and sand it back with 320. And then it got 4 or 5 coats of lacquer. There were a couple runs, but just keep squirting, and then it all comes out in flat sanding. So then it was sanded flat with 320, and then I ran through the grits to polish sand it. Did 600, 1200, and 2500, and did both the block and the body. I decided to do them separately for no special reason. And yeah, so the next step, and then after sanding came polishing, and then clean up with Windex. And yeah, so now it's all ready for reassembly is the next step. So bolt on the neck, and screw on the bridge block, and screw on the bridge. And then it's time to put in a pickup and a jack. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody have a good one.